My discursive piece, Literature's Fun Side Hustle, disrupts the notion of the comic's inherent inferiority to other literary forms through the discussion of the shonen canon. It challenges the proposition and the meta-narratives that have led to the dismissal of the integrity of graphic novels, encouraging re-evaluation of the audience's concept of literature and potential biases towards the form. The fury generated by one advert by South Korean webcomic publisher Webtoon, which tried to generate revenue through the dismissal of comics and the diligence of artists and authors within the industry, I adapted my initial piece, an outline of the shonen canon, to dismantle their claim. My piece mirrors the structure of McCann's What Time Is It Now Where You Are, to create an extended metaphor and intertextuality that immerses the reader in the subject of the discussion. McCann's use of segmentation and numbering allows for a cohesive narrative with time skips and the interspersion of congruent stories. Through this technique, my piece also distinguished between eras and assisted in controlling and directing the discussion to ensure adherence to the word count. However, unlike McCann's piece, my work is not segmented numerically, but instead reflects the phases in a turn of Yu-Gi-Oh! This was to reflect the piece's content, as Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not only a card game but an influential piece of shonen media that happens to be a personal favorite. It also serves as an ironic spin on the typical perception of structuring work around a children's card game, as it added depth and sophistication to the piece, while simultaneously being something that would typically be perceived as sacrilegious. This further correlates to the piece's discussion and creates a layer of understanding of the work that would not be possible without the inclusion of these subtitles. Additionally, the conversational tone emulates the style of Helen Gardner's How to Marry Your Daughters to allow a personal connection with the reader and to confine the modality to avoid the text being too aggressive and lending itself towards persuasive rather than the intended discursive style. Hence, the text is a more passive and subtle discussion of the value of manga through constructing a canon rather than analyzing the textual integrity of manga. To do that would only be met with friction due to established values, and it requires a greater control to convince someone through a more playful tone, and you do not marginalize those with a contrasting opinion. The conversational tone is reflected in the use of prepositions also and so, primarily evoked in the final paragraph to complement the more emotional content and to assist in the impact of the final sentence, "Thank you for dissing," and the use of sarcasm. The use of the phrase "old dead white men" also echoes the stylistic choices of Gardner, and mirrors the critiques of modern discourse over the text within the Western canon, to emphasize the issue with disregarding comics as literature's fun side hustle.